Center Live. Thanks for joining us. I'm Vivian Brown.
And I'm Nick Walker. Okay, we've had a weekend after weekend after weekend of severe storms, the last 6 weekends in a row. And unfortunately, we might even have another one this coming weekend.
That is right. And we'll talk more about the weekend threat of stormy conditions for this upcoming weekend in just a moment. But first, the storms in Texas.
Yeah, just south of Dallas, 10 people were rescued from flooded homes yesterday, and another 3 pulled from their stranded cars.
Yeah, the area was hit with nearly 5 inches of rain in just one day. Our own Kate Parker reports from Johnson County, where the worst of the flooding occurred.
Early Sunday, and skies over Texas are full of lightning and rain. A lot of rain. To the southwest of Dallas, close to 5 inches falls on Johnson County, and a little stream called Mountain Creek roars out of its banks. In the path, the home of Bill and Tracy Castell.
I looked out the back window and the water was everywhere. It was a raging river.
First thing I did was had my wife dial 911, tell them that we're trapped in our house, and just go from there.
The Venus, Texas Fire Department comes with a boat, but rescue was impossible.
They tried real hard, but that water was just too powerful.
Then rescue comes. A chopper with rescue swimmers from Texas Task Force 1 arrives.
All of a sudden, this National Guard helicopter showed up, and they were over our house, and my husband's going, no, we don't need it, we don't need it. And the guy came down, and he says, I'm here to take you because I've been sent, and we're going. I'm like, okay. But it was a blast.
I know they attempted a rescue in a boat and were unsuccessful. As far as the hazard assessment goes, we were coming in, and we're going to go ahead and take them off.
So what did you say to them?
I said, we're going to take you off. Hold on, we'll get you a good little ride.
A good little ride is an understatement for what the Texas Military Forces and their task force does. They are rescuers who cruise the skies, a last line of defense in moments of crisis.
Water definitely is very powerful. The good thing about it, though, is it can be predictable.
It's a team effort, and we train every month. It's a well-oiled machine.
A rescue machine well appreciated on this day.
I hope it's a one-time experience and never has to happen again. We are safe, and we're very blessed to be here.
Safe and sound thanks to the Texas Task Force 1. I'm meteorologist Kate Parker, the Weather Channel.
Well, unfortunately, we may see more water rescues in the days to come as we have more heavy rain causing more flooding problems. That flood threat continues across parts of the South. Here's how much rain we've had in Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, all these areas here in the South Central Plains, as much as 1 foot to 1.5 feet in some locations just this month. It's been an incredible amount of rainfall, and unfortunately, we have more falling on top of this saturated ground. Oklahoma City is one of these places that has just been off the charts. Look at this here. Average May would be 4.5 inches, 4.75 inches of rainfall. But look at this. You've more than doubled it. Lawton, Oklahoma, Wichita Falls, more than doubled your rainfall amounts for the month so far. So we've got rain continuing to come down here. Louisiana, you're seeing it now. You saw it in eastern Texas earlier with some flood threats. Those warnings have been allowed to expire, but now we have warnings there north of Alexandria for the possibility of flash flooding as thunderstorms come into that region. All through I-20 into Jackson, it's raining, and southward, we've got some pretty heavy rainfall. Vicksburg, 6 inches of rainfall just the last couple of hours or so we were doing that. Now it's up to around 7 inches, according to the Doppler radar. Look at this. In portions of Louisiana, north of Alexandria, 7.1 inches of rainfall. That's why we have water over roadways. That's why we have creeks out of the banks. We'll continue to see problems here in Louisiana with this flash flood warning in Grant, Natchitoches, Natchitoches, I should say, and Wynn Parish. Rainfall, severe weather back toward Texas, the Panhandle again, once again could see it, and then all the way through Wednesday and Thursday. Unfortunately, more rain coming down on that already saturated ground means big problems. Vivian?
All right, heavy rains and flooding, but also the severe weather. Now we have amazing video of a huge wedge tornado in Elmer, Oklahoma this past weekend. I'll tell you what, this was a huge tornado. You can see it, right? Picture says 1,000 words, and there it is. You can could see the eastern side and the western side, and pretty much this is the base of the clouds, but you can pretty much see that it is as wide as it is tall. So this was a bona fide wedge tornado that moved right over the open fields here in Elmer, Oklahoma. It was a very violent weather day, to say the least. Now, are we expecting severe weather today? Well, we have the outlined area where we could find the severe weather. Hopefully no huge wedge tornadoes like that, but we are watching West Texas for the rest of the afternoon. So far, radar doesn't show any returns in this area, but we are looking at those storms as they push off to the east, and even some renegade thunder showers have already started to develop here in eastern Pennsylvania, just west of Philadelphia. Noticing some thunder showers. Again, nothing severe. We don't have any severe weather watches or warnings out at this time, but we want you to know from West Texas all the way toward the eastern seaboard, this whole area is vulnerable for the storminess over the next 24 to 48 hours. That's because that surface cold front will be slowly moving east. You can see the jet stream winds kind of flowing right overhead across the Ohio Valley. So today we'll be watching for spotty showers and thunderstorms to develop, and tonight and tomorrow much of the same, because the atmosphere is very warm, moist, and unstable out ahead of the cold front. So we'll be here tomorrow as well. Maybe even Boston, Providence, New York City, down to Philadelphia again, and even around the D.C. area and Richmond. We'll be following the scattered showers and thunderstorms for you even tomorrow afternoon. Here's a look at these specific forecasts for you if you're in the Pittsburgh area. Back to you, Nick.
Well, for many of you, this weekend was anything but restful. In Oklahoma, heavy rains and an EF2 tornado, packing winds of up to 120 miles per hour, caused panels to fly off homes and trees to come down southeast of Tulsa. Those winds leaving a hefty cleanup for people in the devastated neighborhoods. This is just one of 5 reports of tornadoes across Oklahoma this weekend.
Constipated? Dulcolax tablets can cause cramps, but not Phillips. It has magnesium and works more naturally than stimulant laxatives for gentle, cramp-free relief of occasional constipation.
That works.
Live the regular life. Phillips.
Think fixing your windshield's a big hassle? Not with Safelite. Just go to safelite.com. Tell us where and when you need us, and we'll come fix it right away. With Safelite, it's that easy. That's another Safelite advantage.
Safelite Repair, Safelite Replace.
You do all this research on the perfect car, gas mileage, horsepower, torque ratios. 3 spreadsheets later, you finally bring home the one, then smash it into a tree. Your insurance company's all too happy to raise your rates. Maybe you should have done a little more research on them.
For drivers with accident forgiveness, Liberty Mutual won't raise your rates due to your first accident. See car insurance in a whole new light. Liberty Mutual Insurance.
A message from the Pulaski Law Firm. A government study reports thousands of workers have been diagnosed with asbestos-related mesothelioma. To compensate those affected, asbestos trusts have been established with $30 billion in initial funding. You may be entitled to financial compensation without ever going to court. Act now. Call 1-800-950-MESO for a free consultation. If you've been diagnosed with mesothelioma, get the best care available. Then call us. Mesothelioma. Don't fight it alone.
Ready? Ready. Steady. Go!
It's more than a movie. It's now a ride. Let's go! Fast and Furious, supercharged. Ride it at Universal Studios Hollywood.
Currently in our area, 84 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. This afternoon, sunshine and clouds mixed. High 86. Winds east at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Tonight, partly cloudy skies. Low 75. Winds east at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Tuesday, partly cloudy skies. High 87. Winds east at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Here's our 7-day outlook.
the edge, didn't give up.
How about over there?
What does it mean to have an unlimited mileage warranty on a certified pre-owned Mercedes-Benz? What does it mean to drive as far as you want for up to 3 years and be covered? It means your odometer is there to record the memories. During the Mercedes-Benz Certified Pre-Owned Sales event now through June 1st, you'll get complimentary prepaid maintenance and receive your first 2 months payments on us, only at your authorized Mercedes-Benz dealer.
I typed my name, and Ancestry opened the door to the world's largest online collection of family history records. Discover your story today at Ancestry.com.
Let's do this. Let's move outdoors for the next few months. Let's build a kitchen under the clouds. A dining room with no walls, no ceiling. Let's put it all together. Then, let's get together. A lot. Let's do this. Get free Bug Stop for indoors with purchase of Trazicide for outdoors. The Home Depot. More saving, more doing.
You are watching Weather Center Live, and right now we're looking live at Atlanta, Charlotte in North Carolina, even Washington, D.C. Now, we do have some heat to tell you about, mainly in Charlotte and D.C., not so much Atlanta, and we'll tell you why in just a moment. You do see a few raindrops on the camera lens there, right? We did have some very warm conditions just last hour. Temperatures were in the low 80s for Atlanta. But right now, it's only in the 70s, and it's because we had that little thunderstorm to develop overhead, and it literally dropped the temperature a good 10 degrees during the thunderstorm in the Atlanta area. But all surrounding areas, you could see in the mid to upper 80s at this hour. It's 87 in Charlotte, 89 in Tallahassee, and 87 down toward the Jacksonville area as well. But you know, when you talk about the heat over the South, the temperature, that's only half the story. The humidity, or the dew points, the measure of moisture in the air, is the other half of the story. And with dew points well into the 60s and even 70s, it's a very sticky, muggy air mass out there that we're dealing with today. And this heat and humidity will continue right on through the end of the week. That's because you can see the jet stream carving and pushing northward, the area of high pressure developing off the coast, and that clockwise flow around it just pumping in that low level moisture. So the heat and humidity will be on the increase for several days to come. Afternoon highs today, perhaps climbing back into the middle 80s before the day is done in the Atlanta area. That'll be the case tomorrow, and even on Wednesday. Now you talk about the temperatures in the upper 80s and low 90s as you head down toward the panhandle of Florida. Factor in the humidity levels, and it's going to feel a little bit more sticky, so just bear that in mind. In fact, Atlanta here is look at your forecast for the rest of the week into this upcoming holiday weekend. Temperatures in the upper 80s and low 90s, of course, when you factor in the humidity. Nick?
All right, let's do a little flip-flop, okay? We go from the warm to the cooler. Boy, it is cooler in Minneapolis today. You hit the 70s yesterday. Not so much today. Yeah, you're going to, take off the flip-flops and put those warm shoes on. Chicago, you'll see your cool down tomorrow. A lot of us are going to feel it. Yeah, a little taste of late winter for May as this cooler air comes in with wind gusts too. Look at this, wind gusts up to 38 miles per hour in Fargo, 29 miles per hour in Minneapolis. And so you factor in all that wind with some cooler air, you've got wind chills below freezing. Down into the 20s here in Fargo and Sioux Falls. 40 degrees is what it feels like right now around Minneapolis with just a little bit of breeze out there. But as this cold air mass, and it is a cold air mass for May to be sure, makes its way southward and eastward, we're going to see a lot of folks here with temperatures 10 to 25 degrees below average. We're talking about Minneapolis, Omaha, Kansas City, St. Louis, and Chicago, all the way back to Rapid City. Here's the temperatures we're talking about today. 42 degrees in Fargo, that'd be 28 degrees below your average. We'll be in the mid-40s there around Minneapolis as well, and up to the 50s tomorrow, but still 13 degrees below average. Marquette, Chicago, Detroit, you'll all feel this cooler air, with Chicago at only 52 on Wednesday. That's 19 degrees below what would be average for mid-May. So we've got freeze warnings out there for tonight and into tomorrow here in the Dakotas, and even frost advisories all the way down into Nebraska. Bring in any tender plants from pots on the porch or whatever that you want to survive. Minneapolis will warm up again after this cool down today. We'll be back into the 60s by Wednesday and back up to around your average high by the time we get into Thursday. Vivian?
Well, as we go to break, we want to share some video with you of a multi-vortex tornado from this past weekend.
Went sideways. Oh my God, these cows are sitting right here.
A whole new meaning to holy cow, right? As those cows don't seem to be fazed at all by the tornado twisting in the higher, in the terrain there. Nonetheless, that was a massive tornado racing across Elmer, Oklahoma. Stay with us. Our severe weather expert will explain.
Okay, ladies, whenever you're ready.
Thank you. Thank you. I got this.
Oh, no, I'll get it.
Let me get it. I don't want you to pay for this.
It's not happening, honey.
Driving bonus check from Allstate last week, and it's her treat.
What about a tip?
Oh, here's one. Hit an Allstate agent.
Nice.
Switch today and get 2 safe driving bonus checks a year for driving safely, only from Allstate. Call 866-788-0900 now.
Here we go. Hold on, man. Is that a leak up there? That's a drip.
Okay.
Now that's a leak.
That is a leak.
And if you don't have Allstate renter's insurance, game over.
Protect your valuables from things like water damage for as low as $4 a month when you add renter's insurance to your Allstate auto policy. Call 866-788-0900 now. And if you're a safe driver, you can save up to 45%.
Just a few more ways Allstate is changing car insurance for good.
Call a local Allstate agent today.
Are you sending your kids to school with an allergy medicine that may make them drowsy? Only Children's Claritin provides non-drowsy 24-hour allergy relief.
And it's the #1 pediatrician recommended non-drowsy brand.
In class and out, your kids can live Claritin Clear.
You get used to stale odors in your mudroom. You think it smells fine, but your guests smell this. Febreze Air Effects works instantly to eliminate odors you've gone nose blind to.
It smells like a field of awesome in here.
So you and your guests can breathe happy.
Control the weather, so we build things to harness it.
This is about how far you can push yourself.
If you're not happy with how your allergy medicine treats your congestion, rethink relief with Nasacort Allergy 24-Hour. Unlike antihistamines that target only one cause of your symptoms, Nasacort stops more, relieving the worst nasal allergy symptoms, even congestion, for 24 hours. It's non-addictive and has no harsh taste, and unlike Flonase, it's scent and alcohol-free. And it's available over the counter at full prescription strength. Rethink your relief with Nasacort. It stops more of what makes you miserable.
Xfinity sales professionals are always on the go, meeting new people every day. They're helping families get the latest Xfinity products and services. And they're making customers happy. Jumpstart your career with the best sales training in the industry. Great benefits like discounts on your own Xfinity services and the potential for high earnings. Have what it takes? Apply today and see what doors open for you.
The Weather Channel's most watched original program,
and it just hit us,
is back.
This is just the beginning of what's to come.
Stay tuned for your Local on the 8s, brought to you by CenturyLink, your link to what's next.
It's more than the cloud. It's security and flexibility. It's where great ideas and vital data are stored. With CenturyLink, you get advanced technology solutions from a trusted IT partner, including cloud and hosting services, all backed by an industry-leading broadband network and people committed to helping you grow your business. You get a company that's more than just the sum of its parts. CenturyLink, your link to what's next.
Currently in our area, 83 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. This afternoon, sunshine and clouds mixed. High 86. Winds east at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Tonight, partly cloudy skies. Low 75. Winds east at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Tuesday, partly cloudy skies. High 87. Winds east at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Welcome back to Weather Center Live. What you're looking at is just some of the nasty weather we've been dealing with over the past 6 weeks.
And as you can see, we've seen a bit of it all. From Texas to Wyoming to Oklahoma. It's been pretty intense, dangerous, and for some, an overwhelming aftermath just trying to clean up from all this mess. And just this past weekend, this huge wedge tornado formed in Elmer, Oklahoma. That happened around 6 o'clock Saturday evening.
The storm chasing team called the Base Hunters took this video, and the National Weather Service gives it a preliminary rating of perhaps an EF2.
There were multiple reports on this tornado as it traveled 15 miles from Elmer to Tipton, Oklahoma, just north of the Texas border.
Okay, let's talk more about the past 6 weeks of violent weather.
We've had one weekend after another, all the way back to April 11th and 12th, and we saw tornadoes, large hail, and damaging winds right there through the plains.
And that was mainly, as you mentioned, across the plains, but then the following weekend, we covered a good part of the South, including the Tennessee Valley.
What a weekend that was. And then, just the very next weekend, we had more of the same here across Texas and the Deep South, up through the Ohio Valley, and some of those areas, particularly back toward Texas, that included tornadoes.
Well, as we brought in the month of May, we kind of included parts of the upper Midwest. Look at the hail and wind reports we had from southern Minnesota into parts of Nebraska.
And then the following weekend, we had more tornadoes from Texas all the way up through the plains and into the Dakotas. This, in Texas, is where we actually had some fatalities, unfortunately, from some of those tornadoes.
Yeah, and here is this past weekend. Look across the middle of the country, parts of the southeast, even some parts of the northeast there, with hail, high wind, and quite a few tornadic reports as well.
9 states. Yeah. 9 states reporting tornadoes this past weekend, and we may very well see more come this next weekend.
All right. Well, before the break, we showed you the video of the multiple vortices in Elmer, Oklahoma.
And we want to go more in depth and explain really what that means. Severe weather expert Dr. Greg Forbes breaks down what he says just might be one of the best examples of multi-vortex tornadoes he's ever seen.
This multi-vortex tornado is one of the most impressive videos of a multi-vortex tornado containing what we call suction vortices that I've seen. Take a look. If you'll see here, the tornado is from left to right across the screen, but you can see little funnels that are within that, some of them moving from left to right there in the front side close to you. There's others that are going from right to left there in the back side, going backwards, and these funnels we call suction vortices revolve about the parent tornado. Let's take a look then at an animation to talk a little bit more about this. The most violent of tornadoes usually have these suction vortices. Typically, we can't see inside of a tornado. We can often see a dust and debris cloud that's on the edge of the tornado, a little bit wider than the funnel itself. But sometimes the tornadoes become somewhat transparent, and we can look inside the tornado and see these little individual vortices. They revolve like a merry-go-round about the center of the parent tornado, and they have their own rotation as well as their own updraft, their own inflow. And so the winds in that suction vortices can be 50 to 100 miles per hour faster when you add it to the parent tornado winds than just the parent tornado winds themselves. And if you're hit by one of these as opposed to missed by one of these, we call that suction swath. Sometimes if it's going over a field of corn stubble, it will collect a little pile of corn stubble with that, and that marks the path, kind of detective work of where these suction swaths have been. It sometimes explains the skipping nature that we hear. One house destroyed while the next one over is not destroyed. That's whether you got hit or missed by a suction vortex. Back to you.
All right, so now we know that type of information you can only get on the Weather Channel. Meanwhile, heavy rain has been a major problem across the state of Missouri.
Yeah, we want to take you to Mosby, just outside Kansas City. This is where we had up to 3 inches of rain falling there yesterday, pushing the Fishing River over its banks while cresting at 30 feet and virtually putting the entire city underwater.
Hundreds of people were evacuated from their homes. The high water still a problem as several roads are closed today. We'll talk more about this right after this.
A message from the Pulaski Law Firm. A government study reports thousands of workers have been diagnosed with asbestos-related mesothelioma. To compensate those affected, asbestos trusts have been established with $30 billion in initial funding. You may be entitled to financial compensation without ever going to court. Act now. Call 1-800-950-MESO for a free consultation. If you've been diagnosed with mesothelioma, get the best care available. Then call us. Mesothelioma. Don't fight it alone.
Across America, people like Basketball Hall of Famer Dominique Wilkins are taking charge of their type 2 diabetes with non-insulin Victoza.
For a while, I took a pill to lower my blood sugar, but it didn't get me to my goal. So I asked my doctor about Victoza. He said Victoza works differently than pills and comes in a pen. Victoza is proven to lower blood sugar and A1C. It's taken once a day, anytime. And the needle's thin. Victoza is not for weight loss, but it may help you lose some weight.
Victoza is that may improve blood sugar in adults with type 2 diabetes when used with diet and exercise. It is not recommended as the first medication to treat diabetes and should not be used in people with type 1 diabetes or diabetic ketoacidosis. Victoza has not been studied with mealtime insulin. Victoza is not insulin. Do not take Victoza if you have a personal or family history of medullary thyroid cancer, multiple endocrine neoplasia syndrome type 2, or if you are allergic to Victoza or any of its ingredients. Symptoms of a serious allergic reaction may include swelling of face, lips, tongue, or throat, fainting or dizziness, very rapid heartbeat, problems breathing or swallowing, severe rash or itching. Tell your doctor if you get a lump or swelling in your neck. Serious side effects may happen in people who take Victoza, including inflammation of the pancreas, pancreatitis, which may be fatal. Stop taking Victoza and call your doctor right away if you have signs of pancreatitis, such as severe pain that will not go away in your abdomen or from your abdomen to your back, with or without vomiting. Tell your doctor about all the medicines you take and if you have any medical conditions. Taking Victoza with a sulfonylurea or insulin may cause low blood sugar. The most common side effects are nausea, diarrhea, and headache. Some side effects can lead to dehydration, which may cause kidney problems.
If your pill isn't giving you the control you need, ask your doctor about non-insulin Victoza. It's covered by most health plans.
And I turn around and there's 3 rattlesnakes.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Don't worry, Rob. You're covered.
State Farm agents are there whenever you need them.
To you, they're more than just a pet, so protect them with Canine Advantix 2. Its broad-spectrum protection kills fleas, ticks, and mosquitoes, too. Canine Advantix 2, for the love of dog.
Time to sweat, boys. Big time. Let's get this thing right. This is my one shot.
I have made fire!
Fat Guys in the Woods. The new season starts June 7th, only on the Weather Channel.
Currently in our area, 83 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. This afternoon, sunshine and clouds mixed. High 86. Winds east at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Tonight, partly cloudy skies. Low 75. Winds east at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Tuesday, partly cloudy skies. High 87. Winds east at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Here's our 7-day outlook.
All you got to do is show us something that's amazing out there. We love to see your pictures, and every picture you share, we'll try to share it as well right here on AMHQ.
Wild hail in the Texas Panhandle this weekend. This was in Texoma, right on the Oklahoma border on Saturday. Hailstones the size of quarters, that'll damage your car. And well over 3 inches of rain could do some damage too. This is what it caused. And, you know, the threat of thunderstorms comes tonight with more severe weather possible. Yeah, we got flooding problems out there, all kinds of problems. Thanks for joining us here for Weather Center Live. I'm Nick Walker.
And I'm Vivian Brown. Just a messy, nasty, intense situation, round after round of severe weather over the weekend. And unfortunately, fortunately, we were actually live on the air when the tornado developed near Elmer, Oklahoma.
Yeah, it happened around 7 o'clock Saturday night. Several storm chasers were on this tornado, and we saw it live on the Weather Channel. Take a look.
Definitely a cone-shaped tornado there, maybe partly rain-wrapped. Yeah, there it is. I'm going to try to draw it there. Yes, I got it. It's hard to see in my telestrator, but right there is the cone-shaped tornado. Don't know if I'd call it wedge-shaped at this point. To be wedge-shaped, it has to be wider than it is tall, but certainly a big cone-type tornado there that is kind of hidden in the rain. This white, I believe, is probably a crack in the windshield. They probably encountered some hail and cracked the windshield as a consequence of that. Tornado, a little bit harder to see at the moment. This is probably a good example of what we talk about by storms being partly rain-wrapped. You can see he's putting his windshield wipers on occasionally, so there's a curtain of rain between him and the tornado that is making it a little bit hard to see. You're probably well aware that the visibility goes down when you're driving around through rain, and that same principle applies here. Makes it harder to see the tornado. I'm taking another chance here. I think it's still right in there is where the tornado is. At times the visibility gets a little bit better, so definitely a tornado in progress. I think the tornado is the right edge of it. I think is just to the edge of the road there. It's very hard to see, and it's even harder to see in my telestrator. But I think it's
headlights.
Yeah, right above the headlights. That's exactly correct. Yeah. It is really. I'm watching the radar as well while we talk here, and it is tightened. It is shrunk in diameter. Oh, power flash. And really tightened. Power flashes. Yeah, definitely a tornado in progress.
Man, severe weather over the weekend, flooding over the weekend. Now we've got more rain, more severe weather, more flooding. And this time it's in eastern Texas and into Louisiana. But this is unfortunately on top of an area that has already seen saturated ground. The month of May has just been so incredibly wet here over much of Texas, Oklahoma, into Arkansas and Kansas, Missouri too. 12 to 18 inches of rain in southern portions of Oklahoma and Texas, and even down into the southeastern portion. The ground just can't take any more moisture. For example, we've had so far in Dallas almost 21 inches of rain for the year. We're almost up to what we got for the entire year last year, 21.32 inches. Okay, so you were praying for rain, you needed rain. Okay, we've got it now. We certainly do. And unfortunately, we also have flash flooding, and we also have severe weather problems too. A lot of rain coming into Alexandria, southward into areas just north of Lake Charles. So anywhere between I-20 and I-10 is going to see a lot of rain here around portions of Louisiana today. We've got this severe warning right here for Allen Parish, Evangeline, and Jefferson Davis Parish as well. Hail and damaging winds could be the threat here, but the threat a little farther north, just the flooding. In Grant, Natchitoches, and Wynn parishes, flash flood warnings ongoing here. Some areas here in Louisiana on into Mississippi have seen 3 inches, 4 inches, 5 inches and more of rainfall. Caldwell, LaSalle, and Wynn Parish under the warning for more flash flooding. And we'll continue to see more rain tomorrow and in the coming days. So you need to remember, turn around, don't drown, stay away from those flooded roads.
Well, let's talk more about the severe weather that took place over the weekend as well. Here's more of that amazing video from this weekend. Check out the huge wedge tornado that formed near Elmer, Oklahoma around 6 o'clock on Saturday evening. Now, the National Weather Service gives it a preliminary rating of an EF2. That means winds roughly 120 miles per hour. Multiple reports came in on this tornado as it traveled for miles from Elmer to Tipton Houston, Oklahoma, just north of the border, of the Texas border now. And the storm chasing group called the Base Hunters actually shot this video. So let's bring in the Base Hunters. Scott Peak himself. Scott, let me tell you, now if that were me and I saw this huge tornado, I would have run as far and as fast as I could, that even right now I still would not be undercover. So a brave soul you are. Tell me, Scott, what was going through your mind when you saw this tornado developing?
Well, I was thinking, well, this is an amazing hook echo on the radar, and soon after the hook, saw the tornado forming right before our eyes, and we had our tour guests with us, and from out of the country, and they were just ecstatic as well, and watching the tornado and just in awe, because some of the tour guests had never seen a tornado in their life. So it's a great opportunity to share my passion with them, and I was really excited. So.
Yes, I know how excited you were because, I mean, when I've seen watching the dual pole radar and then actually seeing it live via tower camera, something like that, it is very amazing to see how surreal it is. So what did you think that you had to do? I mean, when you saw this tornado forming, what did you do? Did you drive away? Did you move in right angles like we're supposed to do? I'm sure you did the right thing.
Well, the first thing we did was we reported on Spotter Network that there was a tornado on the ground. That's usually the first thing we do, is report the tornado to the Weather Service via the internet, and pretty much start videotaping at the same time, and sat there for a little bit. The tornado wasn't moving that fast at the moment, so we were able to have the luxury of watching it come up to us, and then we had to move at that point.
Yes, when you saw it getting closer to you, did you see any other damage that it was doing?
No, apart from the power flash or two that we saw, there was no damage that we were seeing. It was crossing, it briefly along the Red River and then crossed back into Oklahoma. It was pretty much a rural area where the Red River was, so there wasn't any out there.
Yes, that was the best thing about it, is that it was in a rural area and you were a pretty good distance away from it. Thank you very much, Scott Peak, and as you continue to chase the storms, please stay safe out there, and thank you very much.
John, appreciate it.
All right. Well, let's talk more about the threat of the severe weather today. Now, we don't think we'll see any tornadoes like that, as we'll continue, of course, to watch the instability in the air, but perhaps no tornadoes like that. But we're watching some thunderstorms breaking out right out ahead of the cold front. Again, this is that very same system that produced that huge wedge tornado in Oklahoma. But as it moves out to the east across the Ohio Valley, we've had a few showers kind of breaking out right ahead of it. But again, nothing severe. We don't have any severe thunderstorm or tornado watches or warnings or anything, but we're watching a lot of warm, moist air right out ahead of this cold front. And as the cold front continues to move east, it's going to punch into that unstable air mass, and again could kick off some showers and storms from the Ohio Valley all the way to the eastern seaboard. So here is a look at the setup today, the forecast. You can see everywhere that you see the green, that's where we could find some showers and storms. And even overnight tonight, some of the instability could push into the Philadelphia area and even New York City overnight tonight, and tomorrow we're watching you as the clouds will be on the increase and the chance of the showers and storms. So here's a look at your Tuesday forecast. So tomorrow, watching a good part of the Northeast. So in the Pittsburgh area, this is your specific forecast, anticipating thunder showers for the rest of the afternoon, and then moving into Philadelphia and New York overnight tonight.
Currently in our area, 82 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. This afternoon, sunshine and clouds mixed. High 86. Winds east at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Tonight, partly cloudy skies. Low 75. Winds east at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Tuesday, partly cloudy skies. High 87. Winds east at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Here's our 7-day outlook.
1 can of Bush's beans.
Well, this is a predicament. Home style sounds good, but country style not without its charms. Brown sugar hickory? Who says no to hickory? Not this guy. New sweet heat? Sure. There are no rules here. No rules on aisle 4.
Our new sweet heat is cooked according to our secret family recipe with a sweet and spicy chili sauce.
Did you get a can of Bush's beans?
Yes, I did.
Bush's Beans. What's your favorite flavor?
My budget was always second guessing me when I'd buy stuff for the family. Fingerhut. 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 At Fingerhut.com, we can shop with low monthly payments. Over 200,000 items and growing from brands like Samsung, Lego, and KitchenAid. Just click on over to Fingerhut.com to get the credit you deserve and great stuff for your family. Oh, not Fingerhut. I got that at a garage sale. For $1.
With the guts to stand apart. Join a league all their own.
I've got plans, and this is my baby right now. So it's just not the right time to get pregnant. That's why I chose Skyla. Skyla is the small, flexible IUD that prevents pregnancy for up to 3 years. So for me, there are no daily pills or monthly refills. I got my Skyla placed in just a few minutes at my OBGYN's office. And if I want to try to get pregnant, I can get it removed whenever I want.
If you have a pelvic infection, get infections easily, or have certain cancers, don't use Skyla. Less than 1% of users get a serious infection called PID. If you have persistent pelvic or stomach pain, or if Skyla comes out, tell your doctor. Skyla may attach or go through the uterus and cause other problems. Pregnancy while using Skyla is uncommon, but can be life-threatening and may result in loss of pregnancy or fertility. Ovarian cysts may occur, but usually disappear. Bleeding and spotting may increase in the first 3 to 6 months and remain irregular. Periods over time usually become shorter, lighter, or may stop. Skyla does not protect against HIV or STDs.
Talk to your OBGYN about making the move to Skyla.
Check with your insurance to find out if you can get Skyla at no cost.
And just like that, the snow is gone. And parkas become jackets. And sweaters go down for a long nap. And off you go. And your backyard gets a whole lot bigger. And you're running and climbing. And your gear gets lighter and trimmer and fitter and smarter. And now every frozen second spent willing this day to come is just a warm, fading memory.
Let's make your home feel like this. Let's measure this and how to that. And then let's get down to it. Let's do this.
Marazzi Montagna wood look tile flooring is now just $199 a square foot. The Home Depot. More saving, more doing.
Think fixing your windshield's a big hassle? Not with Safelite. Just go to Safelite.com. Tell us where and when you need us, and we'll come fix it right away. With Safelite, it's that easy. That's another Safelite advantage.
Safelite repair, Safelite replace.
Once upon a time, there was a nice house that lived with a family. One day, it started to rain and rain. Water got inside and ruined everybody's everythings. The house thought she let the family down. But the family just didn't think a flood could ever happen.
The reality is, floods do happen. Protect what matters. Get flood insurance. Call 888-RAIN-383 to learn more.
You are watching the Weather Channel, and right now we're watching a very active radar over parts of the South.
We got triple threats going on here: flooding, hail, and damaging winds. We got a severe thunderstorm warning here just north of I-10. This for Allen, Evangeline, and Jefferson Davis parishes. Elton, Kinder, and Oberlin need to be on your guard for the possibility of that damaging wind. And then we've got more rain and thunderstorms throughout much of Louisiana and Mississippi.
Yeah, they're crossing over the Mississippi River there. You can see Brookhaven, and just to the east of Macomb, we have some very intense storms. And then as we jump on our pogo stick and go all the way to the eastern seaboard, look at there in southern Delaware, a severe thunderstorm warning has been issued for Sussex County here in southern Delaware, just south of the Georgetown area. Notice it is pushing south, perhaps some large hailstones associated with this as well.
Well, you know, more than 30 tornadoes were reported across 9 states this weekend, and that wasn't all nature had in store for the Midwest and the Plains states.
Yeah, torrential rains and flooding left lives in danger and kept rescue crews working overtime in several areas. Our own Al Roker takes us back to the wild weather weekend.
A wild weekend of weather in North Texas. Dramatic moments as rescuers take to the air to save residents from the water. One by one, plucking them from homes inundated by massive flooding, produced by hours of relentless rainfall. One man losing his car in the fast-moving water, grabbing onto a tree.
He wasn't going to be able to stand on that tree limb much longer, so I was going in after him.
A Missouri motorist finds himself in a similar spot, waiting for help to come by boat. Neighborhood streets turned into rushing rapids, and swollen rivers threatening to swallow up roadways. Not far away, high winds pulverizing homes and barns. In Kansas, a dozen cars of a stationary train were blown right off the tracks. Saturday near Elmer, Oklahoma, a huge wedge tornado.
Oh my God, less than a quarter mile away.
With debris flying through the air.
Oh my God, these cows are sitting right here.
And livestock seemingly in the line of fire. Sporadic damage along its path, but the tornado miraculously not hitting one town directly. 3 hours away in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, time to pick up the pieces.
Yeah, I hope this is it, but you know Oklahoma, once you live here 31 years, it's not it, so.
The roar of a tornado now replaced by the buzz of chainsaws.
And that was our very own Al Roker reporting. Now, unfortunately, Texas is back in the threat zone for severe weather today. For more on that and the forecast for the rest of the nation, here's Nick with your 7-day outlook.
That's right, Viv. We showed you the warnings there in Louisiana and in Delaware as thunderstorms pop up and could become severe. Probably a more concentrated threat is going to be later on back out here in West Texas. That's where we could see the severe weather really in that area today. But also, all this rain is going to mean more flooding across portions of the south, and we've got more rain and thunderstorms making their way into the northeast as well. Back toward the west, it's rain for you here in northern California. The mountains picking up some of that too, and even a little bit of snow in the higher elevations. Love to see that. We'll see more of the same as we head on into tomorrow. Unfortunately, we're also going to see more severe weather too. That's still confined to West Texas, but probably a wider area, including the Panhandle here, and more rain, unfortunately, across the south is going to mean the possibility of more flooding. Note the temperatures coming down here in Chicago. After you get up into the high 70s today, only 50s for you tomorrow, and then we'll stay there on into Wednesday while we maybe knock a few degrees off some of the temperatures in the northeast as well. But thunderstorms not going away here around the plains. We'll still see more of the same as we head into the latter part of the week. Looks like Thursday, more of that flooding rain could be a possibility. And though we will cool it down a little bit here in the Midwest initially, we'll begin to warm it back up again. Not going to see much cooler, not going to see any less humidity across the south all the way into your weekend. Saturday and Sunday, both looking for more wet weather right here through the plains, more thunderstorms, severe weather possibilities. We'll talk more about the severe weather today coming up after the break. Stay with us.
For most people, earning cash back ends here at the purchase. But the City Double Cash Card doesn't end there. It lets you earn cash back when you buy and again as you pay. That's cash back twice. It's cash back with a side of cash back. The City Double Cash Card, the only card that lets you earn cash back twice on every purchase, with 1% when you buy and 1% as you pay. With 2 ways to earn, it makes a lot of other cards seem one-sided.
Think the tree we carved our names in is still here?
That's probably dead.
How much fun is this?
What?
What a beautiful sunset.
If you like sunsets.
Whether you're sweet or salty, you'll love Nature Valley Sweet and Salty Bars.
Where you get your weather matters.
This is a large and dangerous tornado.
That's why we get real local the moment you need it.
We are live in Oklahoma, Arkansas, Mississippi, Florida.
Real accurate.
This is round one of the severe storms that are coming through.
From real experts on the ground.
That is a gust front for you right there in Dusty, Texas. Wow.
Where you get your weather matters.
This is basically what makes the Weather Channel
Keep the Weather Channel on. Here at the Weather Channel.
The Weather Channel is out in full force today.
Only the Weather Channel.
Currently in our area, 82 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. This afternoon, sunshine and clouds mixed. High 86. Winds east at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Tonight, partly cloudy skies. Low 75. Winds east at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Tuesday, partly cloudy skies. High 87. Winds east at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Here's our 7-day outlook.
No artificial flavors, colors, sweeteners, preservatives, and no artificial smiles. Because clean dressings taste better.
I will take beauty into my own hands. Olay Regenerist. It regenerates surface cells. New skin is revealed in only 5 days without drastic measures. Stunningly youthful, award-winning skin. From the world's #1, Olay, your best beautiful.
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue and clouds of white, the bright blessed day, the dark sacred night, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
Working on my feet all day gave me pain here in my lower back. But now I step on this machine and get my number, which matches my Dr. Scholl's custom fit orthotic inserts. Now I get immediate relief from my foot pain.
My lower back pain. Find a machine at drscholls.com.
To get one free and $500 toward activities, shopping, and dining. That's Virgin Islands nice.
When it comes to Medicare, everyone talks about what happens when you turn 65. But really, it's what you do before that counts. See, Medicare doesn't cover everything, only about 80% of Part B medical costs. The rest is on you.
Consider an AARP Medicare Supplement Insurance Plan insured by United Healthcare Insurance Company. Like all standardized Medicare Supplement insurance plans, it could really save you in out-of-pocket medical costs. So call now and request this free decision guide. Discover how an AARP Medicare Supplement plan could go long for you.
Do you want to choose your doctors? Avoid networks. What about referrals?
All plans like these let you visit any doctor or hospital that accepts Medicare patients, with no networks and virtually no referrals needed. So call now, request your free guide, and explore the range of AARP Medicare supplement plans.
65 may get all the attention, but now is a good time to start thinking about how you want things to be.
Go long.
The Weather Channel's most watched original program,
And it just hit us.
is back.
This is just the beginning of what's to come.
But you know, you often hear us say it's amazing out there, and really we'd be doing you an injustice if we didn't get to show you what we mean. Not necessarily good or bad, but it definitely gives you a wow factor. Going to break down a few videos for you. Take a look at these. Remember this? 35 years ago today, the most active volcano in the Cascade Mountain Range blew its top. Mount St. Helens in Washington State erupted the morning of May 18, 1980, killing 57 people and turning day to night with volcanic ash raining down for hundreds of miles around. The mountain lost 1,300 feet off its top, and the powerful blast flattened 230 square miles of forest and scorched the land for miles around. The ash cloud rose more than 80,000 feet into the air. Pushed by the winds over the next few days, the ash cloud traveled across the United States, eventually circling the globe. Mount St. Helens, once a major tourist destination because of its quiet beauty, is now a tourist landmark again, as well as an outdoor laboratory for the study of volcanoes. We may have actually hit a record in Minot, North Dakota. No, not for summer-like weather, but for snow. They got an inch of it yesterday. Add to that the wind gusts over 40 miles an hour. Temperatures in Minot started out in the 50s, and by mid-morning they were down to the freezing mark. Their average high this time of year, by the way, 67 degrees. Well, a sandstorm takes over northwestern China. Look at this. In the city of Yinchuan, buildings were nearly masked by the storm, and people were too, weren't they? They took to the streets wearing masks to protect themselves from breathing in all that sand. All right, wait for it. Wait for it. Yeah, there it is. Brilliant bursts of lightning, giving the skies over Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, an ominous glow. This was the town where an EF2 tornado ripped through neighborhoods, leaving a path of destruction and damage to homes and roads. Thankfully, no reports of serious injuries. But you know, the threat for tornadoes today, kind of low, but that doesn't mean we aren't watching rain and storms develop. Some of those have been severe already. So Vivian, bring us up to date.
Yeah, let's talk more about the thunderstorms that we're following even as we speak. We have some locally heavy rain that's moving across parts of Louisiana into Mississippi right now. The local radar tells all. We even have flash flood warnings that's been outlined by the areas here in the solid green. And look at this whole slug sliding over the northern parts of Mississippi, northern parts of Louisiana. Jackson, you're here. You had one area of heavy rain to move out to your east, but look at what's approaching you from the west. If this holds together, and I think it will, over the next couple of hours, all of this heavy rain will be coming into the downtown area. So go ahead and get your break right now, because all of this is moving in your direction. A little closer inspection, you can see from Alexandria, Louisiana, all the way to the northern part of the state. These parishes under flash flood warnings. That means that flooding is occurring or very imminent. Grounds are extremely saturated and waterlogged, and that is why these flash flood warnings have been issued even a little farther north in Caldwell, LaSalle, and Wynn parishes. So please be on the lookout. Don't continue to go on a roadway that is covered with water, because you don't know the depth, and I'm telling you that locally heavy rain could wash out a dirt road beneath it, and before you know it, you are floating in the water. Flash flood watches have also been issued. They extend from eastern Texas all the way northeastward into the western parts of Tennessee. Additional rain now, as much as 1 inch to 3 inches right on through Thursday across this area, with some of the heaviest amounts, we think, over north central Texas and even some spots here over the central parts of Mississippi. Noticing the upper air development too, because we have one little disturbance that'll be coming out of the southwest and kicking off over the next 24 hours into West Texas. But notice as we head into the weekend, it's the middle of the country again that will be the vulnerable area for showers and storms both Saturday and Sunday. Today, by the way, we're watching West Texas for some storms developing. Right now, we have no watches or warnings out for this area. Nick?
Well, Viv, it looks like our time's up for the day on Weather Center Live, but our amazing expert-filled in-depth coverage doesn't end here. We leave you with a live look over Atlanta as Dave Schwartz and Bonnie Snyder take the stage.
Currently in our area, 82 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. This afternoon, sunshine and clouds mixed. High 86. Winds east at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Tonight, partly cloudy skies. Low 75. Winds east at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Tuesday, partly cloudy skies. High 87. Winds east at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Well, what a weekend. Tornadoes like this one in Texas and flash flooding kept millions of people in harm's way and kept us very busy. Throughout the hour, we'll be showing you more amazing video just like this. And you'll hear from the people caught in the middle of it all. Welcome to Weather Center Live on a Monday. I'm Dave Schwartz. Alex Wilson has the day off, so joining me is the lovely and talented Bonnie Schneider.
Thank
that's
you,
a twofer right there.
Well, thanks. Well, after a busy weekend, we're still not done with the storms. Coming up, we'll show you the regions at risk tonight, and then see when and where a new threat of severe weather puts millions in the danger zone yet again this week.
Yeah, well, let's take a look outside now and find out where the storms are, where they're heading. I guess that's the most critical part here.
Absolutely. We want to get started with some amazing video you might have missed over the weekend. Check out the large tornado we're looking at in Elmer, Oklahoma. This is massive. It carved a path of about 15 miles long, but amazingly, it did little damage other than uprooting trees and power poles. The National Weather Service rated this an EF2. Coming up, we're going to recap this wild weather weekend, but here's Dave tracking storms in some big cities.
Thank you, Bonnie. Here we go. Yeah, it's not a widespread severe outbreak today. There will be 1 or 2 isolated severe storms, but that's it. Here in Binghamton today, we're in the upper 70s, and we're going to have a chance of thunder showers this afternoon and tonight. Just to our east of Binghamton in Monticello, we're 20 degrees cooler. Little backdoor front that sits right here. Much more stable here, so we don't find any thunder showers from the Hudson Valley into all of New England and most of New Jersey. But west of here, it's in the 80s right now, and we've got scattered thunder showers. There's enough moisture to put down some flooding rain, so be careful. And there is one warning here in southern Delaware. That's Sussex County, you guys. Bethel and Laurel, severe thunderstorm warning till 3:15. Slow moving, so some very heavy rain. Also here in Gloucester County, New Jersey, and west of Philadelphia, some slow moving thunderstorms. Be careful, and if you encounter flooded roads, just turn around, don't drown. It's just that simple. Approaching Cambridge, Ohio, we've got some thunder showers, so you can see they're scattered in nature. Pittsburgh, same story. Morgantown getting it on the Act 2. And we're going to find these thunderstorms moving eastward and weakening tonight. Eventually, they will overrun the cold air in here. They'll weaken as they head toward morning. And I'll tell you, after tomorrow morning showers in New England, we've got a stretch of weather here in the Northeast that is going to be, I think, just as you'll like it. I mean, all the way through the weekend, it looks fantastic. Bonnie, back to you.
That sounds great. Well, it seems, unfortunately, like there's no end in sight when it comes to rain and thunderstorms hitting the southern plains. Storm specialist Carl Parker is in the lab tracking the next round of severe weather and flooding. Carl?
Hey, Bonnie, what we're looking at today is a large hail threat. There could be some damaging wind, maybe a tornado or two, but not a real high tornado threat. And right now, it's really quiet across a lot of West Texas. We're seeing a lot of sunny sky. There is the visible satellite picture. Couple of showers popping up there, but not much. And that makes sense because the upper forcing, the upper low, is still fairly far to the west. It's going to be a while before that begins to get more over into this position. But we do expect that storms are going to begin to break out later tonight. And here is the high-resolution future radar showing you the storms starting to develop this evening there, right along the 27 and southward down towards I-10. That's 8 o'clock tonight Central Time. And then we take it into the late night hours and the overnight hours, and we see more of those storms again with the large hail threat. threat and perhaps some damaging wind as it develops into more of a line of thunderstorms. So again, wind and hail in a pretty sizable area across West Texas, right along I-20, along I-10, Carlsbad, New Mexico, and right down towards Del Rio as well. Now I want to show you what's going on with ongoing storms now in parts of Louisiana and Mississippi. There's been some really heavy rain here. These are flash flood warnings in effect in the north central part of the state. We did just have a severe thunderstorm warning that expired just north of I-10 with these storms north of Lake Charles. And I want to show you here the high resolution radar picture. Notice this line that is coming out of these storms and driving off to the south. That's the leading edge of the cooler air that's rushing out of the base of the thunderstorm, and that is called a gust front, and this is how that works. There's that little gust front right there. That's a radar picture showing you that. And this is what it looks like from the side. So the cool air comes out of the base of the storm, and then it rushes out and along the ground, and warm air is moving up and over top of that, and it can precede the storm by quite some distance. It can get well out and ahead of the storm, and then we see a little circulation developing, and within that circulation, you can have trapped moisture and dust and even insects, and that is picked up by the Doppler radar, and that's why you see that little fine line that is racing out ahead of the storm. So that's the leading edge of that cooler, gusty wind coming from those storms. Flash flood warning right now in effect for several parishes, a couple of counties in Louisiana and also in Texas. And this is also in effect here up into areas south of I-20. We've got a lot of heavy rain here and more on the way for Mississippi. Dave, Bonnie, back to you.
Well, thanks a lot, Carl. I guess we say thank you to that, huh? Well, more than 30 tornadoes were reported across the United States this weekend, 30 of them, including this one near Elmer, Oklahoma. And that wasn't all Mother Nature had in store for the Midwest and Plains.
That's true. Torrential rains and flooding put lives in danger and kept rescue crews working overtime in several areas. The Weather Channel's Al Roker highlights the big stories from this wild weather weekend.
A wild weekend of weather in North Texas. Dramatic moments as rescuers take to the air to save residents from the water. One by one, plucking them from homes inundated by massive flooding, produced by hours of relentless rainfall. One man losing his car in the fast-moving water, grabbing onto a tree.
He wasn't going to be able to stand on that tree limb much longer. So I was going in after him.
A Missouri motorist finds himself in a similar spot, waiting for help to come by boat. Neighborhood streets turned into rushing rapids, and swollen rivers threatening to swallow up roadways. Not far away, high winds pulverizing homes and barns. In Kansas, a dozen cars of a stationary train were blown right off the tracks. Saturday near Elmer, Oklahoma, a huge wedge tornado.
Oh my God, less than a quarter mile away.
With debris flying through the air.
Oh my God, these cows are sitting right here.
And livestock seemingly in the line of fire. Sporadic damage along its path, but the tornado miraculously not hitting one town directly. 3 hours away in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, time to pick up the pieces.
Yeah, I hope this is it, but you know Oklahoma, once you live here 31 years, it's not it, so.
The roar of a tornado now replaced by the buzz of chainsaws.
And then there's this. Find out who has freeze warnings in effect tonight.
Unbelievable. Toenail fungus? Seriously?
Smash it with Jublia. Jublia is a prescription medicine proven to treat toenail fungus. Use Jublia as instructed by your doctor.
Look at the footwork.
Most common side effects include ingrown toenail, application site redness, itching, swelling, burning or stinging, blisters, and pain. Smash it.
Make the call and ask your doctor if Jublia is right for you.
New larger size, now available.
Can a protein originally found in a jellyfish improve your memory? Our scientists say yes. Researchers have discovered a protein that actually supports healthier brain function. It's the breakthrough in a supplement called Prevagen. As we age, we lose proteins that support our brain. Prevagen supplements these proteins and has been clinically shown to improve memory. It's safe and effective. For support of healthier brain function, a sharper mind, and clearer thinking, try Prevagen for yourself today.
You pay your auto insurance premium every month on the dot. You're like the poster child for paying on time. And then one day, you tap the bumper of a station wagon. No big deal, until your insurance company jacks up your rates. You freak out. What good is having insurance if you get punished for using it? Hey, insurance companies, newsflash. Nobody's perfect.
For drivers with accident forgiveness, Liberty Mutual won't raise your rates due to your first accident. See car insurance in a whole new light. Liberty Mutual Insurance.
Time to sweat, boys. Big time. Let's get this thing right.
I have made fire!
Fat Guys in the Woods. The new season starts June 7th, only on the Weather Channel.
Currently in our area, 82 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Tonight, partly cloudy, low 75, winds east at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Tuesday, partly to mostly cloudy, high 87, winds east at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Tuesday night, a mostly clear sky, low 74, winds south-southeast at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Here's our 7-day outlook.
And then it hit. And you took it to the edge. Didn't give up.
Allergies can distract you. So when your symptoms start, doctors recommend taking non-drowsy Claritin every day of your allergy season. With Claritin, you get powerful non-drowsy relief 24 hours a day, day after day. Which is important, because with fewer symptoms to distract you, you can focus on the extraordinary things you do every single day. Live Claritin Clear every day.
Think fixing your windshield's a big hassle? Not with Safelite. Just go to safelite.com. Tell us where and when you need us, and we'll come fix it right away. With Safelite, it's that easy. That's another Safelite advantage.
Safelite repair, Safelite replace.
Let's make an entrance. Let's go against the grain. This way, that way, even up that way. Let's review this, workshop that. Let's save, and then let's get down to it. Let's make your home feel like this, and make you feel like this. Let's do this.
Marazzi Montagna wood look tile flooring is now just $199 a square foot. The Home Depot, more saving, more doing.
We're back now with details about a new project that could help us understand even more about tornadoes.
It's called the Sirens UAV Tornado Project. Now this weekend, the team flew one of their drones into a supercell for the first time. And this is the video it shot near Medicine Park in southwestern Oklahoma.
3 students from Kennesaw State University in Georgia are overseeing the project. They say they were inspired to learn more after the deadly El Reno, Oklahoma tornado in 2013. Now, they talked about their findings this morning on Wake Up with Al.
We actually do have sensors on board transmitting back to us, so if we don't recover the actual craft, we still have the data. But once we recovered the aircraft, we had about 10 times the resolution of our data. So we actually recorded 895 millibars of pressure as we were flying in.
Yeah. That is incredible, and I'm looking forward to hearing more about that project. Thanks for that, Al. We're going to be talking about rain because unfortunately we're seeing a lot of it over the same places that's seen it over and over again. Look at this, heavy amounts of rain working its way into Louisiana, crossing the border straight into Mississippi. Here's a better look at it all. This is southwest Louisiana. There's Lake Charles, Interstate 10 just north of the interstate. Boy, it's coming down just in torrential downpours, working its way to Opelousas, into Lafayette, and certainly towards Baton Rouge. So these are some really heavy downpours in the region. Then once you start getting closer to New Orleans, there's a flash flood warning, and that's in effect for Ascension into other parishes near the southeast part of the state. And this goes until 5 o'clock, meaning we've already had reports of flash flooding in the area. So something to keep in mind. Looking at the radar picture a little further north, we're heading now to Mississippi, into Laurel, Hattiesburg. Heavy amounts of rain. If you're driving along this area, especially along I-20, it goes from bad to worse. close because all of this is moving pretty quickly to the northeast at about 20 miles per hour, already producing heavy downpours and expected to see a lot more. Real-time lightning now. It's happening before our eyes across Alexandria into Baton Rouge, and a lot more of it working towards New Orleans right now. Dave?
To some nice dry weather, or relatively dry. How about Chicago? You're 80 and the cold front slid through. Detroit hasn't got there yet, so it's more humid in Detroit, 83 degrees. Well, here we go, my friend. It's going to be the cool air that wins out, at least in the short term here in the upper Midwest. There's our cold front through Chicago, now 74 at the airport, and the dew point, or the moisture level, is down. But it's still humid in St. Louis, Cincinnati, and Detroit, but that cool air is going to be headed your way. Speaking of cool, 48 in Bismarck right now. We've even had some snow up there. And by tomorrow morning, look at the low temperature in Chicago after a high in the 80s today, a low of 43. And you talk about cold, how about the Dakotas with freeze warnings? Huh? Freeze warnings tonight on top of the snow that we picked up in the eastern Dakotas and western Minnesota today. So yeah, we had the tornadoes further south. That's because we have, differing air masses across the United States and a strong jet stream. That's what we can expect in the morning. 38 when you wake up in Des Moines, 25 in Bismarck. That would break an all-time record from May 19th. 42 in Minneapolis by Wednesday morning, a slow improvement, but all in all, it's going to be great. I think you're going to like it. After the really chilly weather and the clouds break up tonight, we're going to warm up. Denver 48 tomorrow with showers, then 57, then up to 63. Still 9 below average, but a high temperature of 63 with sunshine. That sounds pretty good. Bonnie, back to you.
Well, this past weekend brought on another tornado outbreak in the plains, and we showed you some incredible video. Coming up, Dr. Greg Forbes and his world-renowned tornado expertise. He explains what's happening in this tornado that makes it one of the most impressive videos he's ever seen.